our Michael Gross, who is on the scene in Knoxville. And Michael, for today's game, we'll start with today. You know, what was it, just they were just out of gas?
Yeah, that's a good question, Colin. I think that, first of all, they started with Kevin Reed, who hasn't really pitched well this year, to put it lightly. 5-2, his ERA 7.84 heading into today's game. He had a couple of good starts earlier this season against Southeast Missouri and a couple of other somewhat top-tier mid-major schools, but they were putting confidence in him to have about 2 innings today so they can get it to the guys that they have more confidence in, like a Jacob Meyer, like a Nick Smith, like a Shane Harris, and so on and so forth. But yeah, I think you hit the nail on the head there. Running out of gas is a perfect way to describe it. And listen, they got so far. They weren't projected to win the MVC. They go out and do it, right? They win the conference championship. Then they go and win the regional championship, and they started to become America's team a bit more. They played a tough game on Friday against Tennessee where they lost by 5 runs. Wes Carroll said it was a lot closer than that, as at least the way that it felt. And then Saturday, of course, we know the biggest win in program history. But today, yeah, I just think maybe the bats started to die down. The pitching just wasn't as crisp because these arms have gone and gone and gone, and nobody's gotten really a lot of rest. If we remember, they got back to Evansville. I believe it was either Monday or it was Tuesday maybe. They got back. They had a practice on Wednesday, and then they left again on Thursday. Right? So that's a quick 48-hour turnaround. And so for this team, they had to have been running on fumes, and they were running on fumes. That's what head coach Wes Carroll talked about. A couple of the guys I talked to said the same thing, but hey, they were going to give it their all because this here was their World Series. Even though they didn't get to Omaha, this beating the #1 team in the country and being in this spot, that was the cherry on top of this season.
And Michael, with this program, we look at 11 seniors on this team. How are they reflecting on this season afterwards?
You know, it's a good question because I talked to Kip Fugers early on before the game. It was batting practice, and he and I were just chatting. We probably chatted for about 15 minutes or so, and I asked him about kind of what was next for him after this. You know, he told me a little bit about his plans to play baseball at the next level, but also, you know, he's going to kind of you know, go and coach and do more things within baseball. But some of the other guys, too, Brent Witter and Brendan Horde, tremendous careers. Like you said, 11 seniors and grad students on this team. And they've all had tremendous careers. The way they're going to look back on this season as a whole, of course, there's going to be stuff for them for next season or you know, when the Aces are playing, they're going to be kind of involved, you know, whether it's through social media, whatever it is. But when they look back on this season, I think the biggest thing for them is that they always wanted to make sure that they put on a smile or really just gave it their 100%. And that's what I think that they did for the entire remainder of the season. And that's kind of what Brendan Horde touched upon during his postgame.
I transferred here from the University of Kentucky 3 years ago. And outside of giving my life to Christ, this is the best decision I've ever made coming here. And I can say that without a doubt in my mind. Just the guys, the coaching staff, I can't say enough about this place. Like he was saying earlier, honestly, I'd never even really heard of Evansville before I got that call. But, man, to be here today and kind of put a bow on the career with a super regional against the #1 team in the country in Tennessee, like you said, it puts a bow on it. And it's, you talk about going on top, going out into the sunset on the top of the mountain, that's pretty much it for me.
And that's exactly what Brendan Horde really touched on there. Nobody needs to be teary-eyed. This was a tremendous season. 5-6 years ago, they were 18-39 in 2017, 12-39 in 2018. And for Wes Carroll and this bunch to become what they were this season, 39, I believe, and 25 at the end of the year. They started 9-15, swept by Murray State in their first one. To get to this point, a truly remarkable feat. Reporting from Lindsey Nelson Stadium in Knoxville, Michael Gross, Eyewitness News.